Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at and talking about this thing over my right shoulder. This is the SimLab Mercedes AMG Formula 1 steering wheel. Now, I've been very lucky to have owned and tested lots of high-end sim racing wheels, but a bit of a spoiler, this is by far the best sim racing steering wheel that I've ever used, but not the best wheel for sim racing. Now, that might sound like a bit of a contradiction, but I'll explain more a little bit later. But before we go any further, the necessary disclaimer. SimLab sent me this wheel free of charge to use. I didn't ask for it, nor have SimLab asked me to create any content surrounding it. But it is important to say that SimLab are a channel sponsor. So if this wheel is something that you're interested in, make sure you check out as many reviews as possible to get a clearer picture. So this steering wheel is made by SimLab in collaboration with the Mercedes AMG Formula 1 team. It's the same wheel that was used in Lewis Hamilton's and George Russell's car from the 2024-2025 season. And when I say it's the same wheel, it's the same wheel. This wheel was made from the CAD data supplied by Mercedes using the same materials and the same manufacturing process. It measures 280 millimeters in diameter and is constructed from carbon fiber. And because of that, it's light. I mean, really light. And obviously, the lighter the wheel, the better, as none of that detail is lost by the wheelbase trying to move that weight from left to right. So in the beautifully packaged box, you obviously get the wheel, an entire sticker sheet to customize the wheel as you wish, a USB cable to connect it to the PC, and also a high quality USB extension cable. You also get a different front center rotary encoder if you wanted this to be the George Russell spec. So as you can see, the wheel has got a 4.3 inch scratch resistant display with a resolution of 480 by 800, which is fully compatible with SimHub, or you can use a selection of the displays in the SimLab Race Director software. Also, the wheel has got 25 telemetry controlled LEDs. So as far as inputs goes, on the front of the wheel, you'll find 12 buttons, 6 thumb rotary encoders and 3 front encoders. In the software, you can set each encoder to either be a regular encoder or a positional switch type encoder. On the rear of the wheel, you'll find 2 further buttons and a carbon fiber rocker style shifter, which I'll speak about more later, and a single swing arm adjustable clutch paddle. And the grips are made from an anti-static rubber silicone material. So the wheel is compatible with PC only and is connected via a single USB cable, which doesn't require any additional power, although there are options if you wanted to pass through the data to your wheelbase. So when I'm checking out a new product, I look at it as if I'm going to buy it with my own money, and usually just break it down into 4 simple categories. How does it look? Build quality, performance, and value for money. So I've been using this now for a few weeks, and I would estimate that I've got at least 50 hours on it, so plenty of time to find out what I like and what I don't like. And in my opinion, the best way to test new hardware is to use it as intended for a prolonged period of time. So firstly, we'll speak about looks. Now, this is a Formula 1 wheel, so let's be honest, it's never going to be ugly. And in my opinion, the rear looks just as good as the front with that carbon rocker shifter and the big clutch arm. So on to build quality, and it won't come as any surprise to you that it's flawless, as it uses the same materials and manufacturing process as the real F1 wheel. The carbon fiber is a thing of beauty, and the way it's molded into the screen, it's a work of art. All the buttons have a nice tactile click, but the rotary encoders, wow, the best I've ever felt, hands down, and you're definitely not going to be making any adjustments to those by mistake. Now, onto performance, and you might ask how a wheel can perform. But as I said earlier, being made from carbon fiber means it's light, which makes the force feedback from the simulator even more detailed. All of the buttons are in easy reach, so you don't have to take your hands off the wheel, and the screen is super bright and responsive. Everything has worked perfectly, as you would expect. But I do want to speak about the mono rocker style shifter. Now, you may have seen some on boards from Lewis Hamilton when he started a race. He would hold his left hand on the top of the steering wheel and place his fingers in between the shifter mechanism and the wheel itself. And this was to prevent any accidental downshifts because both the upshift and the downshift are linked. Now, when I first started using the wheel, it took a little bit of getting used to, as you've got to have a little bit more finesse when shifting. I think I might have a tendency to flick rather than a press, which meant when I flicked it, it would release super quick and flick the other way and downshift. But this only happened a few times on the first day of testing. And since then, with a bit of practice, it's been absolutely fine and it hasn't done it since. But a positive use of this mono shifter means that you can shift up or down with any hand. I did an entire race in an LMP2 at Monza using only my right hand. To find out why, you'll just have to go and watch the video. Now, onto price, which, as you can imagine, for this wheel isn't cheap. To buy it, it will set you back £2,323. And I get it. You could buy a full rig, including a moderately spec PC for that. But what you're paying for here is the fact that this is essentially a Formula One wheel. Is it value for money? Of course, that's subjective and it depends how deep your pockets are. Would I spend my own money on it? No, of course not, because I don't have a spare couple of grand hidden under the mattress. But if I was very lucky with the lottery, won some money and I had that disposable income, it would be a no-brainer. I'd have this in a heartbeat. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is the best sim racing wheel that I've ever used. And I'll go as far as to say that this is quite possibly the best piece of sim racing hardware that I've ever used. But this isn't going to be for everyone. And objectively speaking, the SimLab Mercedes F1 wheel isn't the best wheel for sim racing. There aren't any 7-way funky switches. And let's be honest, us sim racers love more than anything a 7-way funky switch. And there aren't any LEDs behind the buttons. But if it had those, it wouldn't be the Mercedes AMG Formula One wheel. It would just be lost in a sea of other sim racing wheels doing exactly the same thing. SimLab have been very brave and zero compromises have been made with this wheel. You either want full realism or you don't. It's as simple as that. So, who is this wheel for? Well, I see this wheel as being for somebody who is already heavily invested in their sim racing rig and has a few spare quid in the pocket and they want the cherry on top of the sim racing cake. So if you are interested in buying one of these wheels, I do have an affiliate link down below in the description, and if you use the code DaveCam5 you'll get 5% off, which will soften the blow ever so slightly. So I want to say a huge thank you to SimLab for sending me this wheel to test news. And also a huge thank you to you guys watching and subscribing, because you guys doing that has given me the opportunity to do this kind of thing. But hopefully this helps somebody make a decision. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.